As I begin my homily today, I'd like to share with you a few years ago, it's been 4 years ago, my mother passed away. And some very well-meaning friends of mine, some of you are out there right now, said to me things in a very consoling manner, but I heard them a little bit different than they were intended to be. Few people said things like, she's in a better place now, right? Now, I know sometimes it's hard for us to know what to say when somebody's lost a loved one, but that's one of the things not to say. I thought about it. It's like, what do you mean she's in a better place? Not here with me, surrounded by her family and all those who love her? It's tough to hear that kind of news, isn't it? I thought about today being called Good Friday, right? Probably shouldn't be called Good Friday in many regards. I'm sure none of the people who were there with Jesus, all his loved ones, all those who cared for him, all those who had followed him, all those who had journeyed with him, thought it was good in any way. The person that they loved, the person that they, admired, the person they thought was going to be able to save them was now gone. It does remind me, though, of the kind of advice that you might hear if you've had your first love. Maybe you had a first love and you had a breakup. Maybe with that first love, your breakup was so hard and so tough on you. Some of your friends might have said something very similar, right? Like, you're better off without her. You're better off without him. That could be true in the long run, but that's not what we need to hear right then, right? You and I know how this story ends. We know the resurrection's coming, but we can't get ahead of ourselves. Today is the most solemn day in our church calendar. And today we have to mourn that death. Today we have to be able to put ourselves into that place of all those people in our lives, all those who have lived before us, to be able to understand that this grief is real. That this person that we see hanging on the cross means so much more than what we even know. Years later, you might say, well, that was a good thing to break up at that time, because then I wouldn't be with the person I love now, right? And so in the future, you could look back on it and say, okay, I understand. Just like you and I can look back on today in the future of our church, the resurrection. But today, God wants us to know what it feels like, right? To remind us that the sanctity of life is so precious. It means so much that we need to value it. May we continue to see the world, not only how it has been, not only as it is, but look at it through the beautiful eyes of what it could be. God calls us into unity with one another. God calls us as believers to be able to walk these steps, to come out of our own desert, to be able to be with other people in presence and in spirit. And may we continue to believe that we are all called to be children of God.